Enjoying a drink is wonderful, but it is nothing compared to the joy of pairing it with the most suitable dishes. Designing, engraving, polishing, and painting to inject artistic passion to cold, hard metal, sculptor Carlos shares with us his superb metalwork.
Ivy, do you think knowing how to actually appreciate wine is the true meaning of how to enjoy life?
Not always the case, because a lot of the times we're not just drinking wine, we're pairing it with gourmet so that they can enhance each other. Well, I think that is indulgence.
But for people like me, I'm so indecisive, you know? Like, just figuring out what to eat is so stressful for me. If I have to figure out also what drink to pair it with, what a nightmare.
Well, I think wine and food pairing is not that hard. We just have to shift our perspective and expect an upgrade in your taste.
Cheers to that. I usually consider each dish and how it would be compatible with the wine. But after seeing an extensive wine list, I get so exasperated.
Hence, I said change the perspective. Wine, food, pairing. We first pick the wine, and then the food that goes with it. All sorted.
Hi, Peter. So you're a star sommelier. Can you share with us how you would start off by doing a food-wine pairing?
White meat pairing white wine, red meat pairing red wine. Normally it won't go wrong. But of course, if you want to asking for more, sometimes we can make magic with the pairing. So that will be more complicated.
See. Could you share with us some common knowledge about wine and food pairing?
To my own experience, sometimes if I visit a country, I will normally choose a wine from the same country to pair with their food. That can be a good choice. But sometimes if you have a bottle of very heavy wine, then you may need a piece of meat with some grease in it. You will find the grease or the fat can melt the tannin into a very mellow flavor, and it can be a magic on the palate.
Oh, how about if it's something a bit more acidic?
More acidic, and then you will need a really seafood like shellfish, like oyster. If you got a wine with good fruit character, with a nice acidity structure, and the acidity and the fruit will change the fishy to a new flavor, what we call umami nowadays.
Peter, then can you recommend to us a wine that you think would suit us?
Well, I pick up some wine from a very special country today for you. It's called Slovenia. Slovenia is the only country in the whole world that contains LOVE in the name of the country.
Oh, that's so romantic.
Today, I recommend you to have a bubbles from Slovenia.
Ooh. Well, it looks pink. Is it a rosé?
It's a rosé. It's actually made by red grapes. It's some Refosco and Merlot together, and they only take a little bit color from the skin, so you got this kind of very pretty color, or some things like a salmon.
Yeah.
Salmon color.
Give it a try.
Let's do it. Cheers.
Ooh, it's sweet. It's fruity.
Yeah.
It's almost like apple or peach.
I almost taste a bit of floral in it too.
Yes.
Are we right at all? You can say if we're right.
Well, this wine is actually, you taste quite a lot of fruit in it. It's almost like cherry, raspberry, or cranberries. Okay, and the fruit is go very well with the acidity. Sweet, you taste actually come at the end.
Yeah.
So it round up the whole thing to make you a very pleasant feeling
It
with this wine.
envelops the mouth.
Yeah. The grape variety is called Refosc in Slovenia. The wine is actually very full body, a lot of fruit like dark berry, dark cherry, and blackberries. And you smell it, a lot of herbal flavor in it.
I see. It's got a bit of like a rooty, herbally kind of aroma to it. So it's not just like the leaves or something, it's the root of it, isn't it? Okay,
Let's give it a try.
I'm gonna go for it. Cheers.
This definitely needs to be paired with spicy food. Just by itself, it's quite heavy for me. What do you think?
Well, it's a little rough. I can't explain it, as in there's some sort of texture surrounding my tongue at the moment. My entire palate it's got a bit of rough, kind of tea-like texture to it. Am I right?
It's almost like I can chew the flavor. Like it's still there. It's very herby.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I like this one, but I mean, to each their own.
When you drink on its own, you just mentioned rough. It's actually the tannin. When it meet with some texture of meat, grease, and the tannin will become soft. Not even just the meat. And with some spicy herbs, everything go together, it will make it very complicated and like layers of flavor on your palate.
I see. So Peter, we've tried 2 different types of wine so far. Would you say there's a signature type that comes from the Slovenian region?
As you remember, I told you that Slovenia is famous for their white wine and sparkling wine.
Yes.
But for red wine, there's one special region called Istria. It's a peninsula. That means 3 parts of the land are surrounded by sea. When the sun goes to the sea, the 3 sides of the sea will reflect the sunlight to the vineyard even during nighttime. So this part of Slovenia is very special for their red wine. This one is a limited edition. They produce about 2,000 cases per year. And they're using Cabernet Sauvignon. You can call it the king of red wine.
The king of red wine.
Wow. Cheers.
It's got these really interesting appley flavors to it. But it's not just apple, it's like cherry, almost like ruby port.
I feel like this wine would be okay just by itself. You know, like paired with food, of course, it will also change the profile, but I would drink this just by itself too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why you so enjoy this wine? Because the wine is soft, fine, and elegant. And you feel a lot of dark fruit also, like red currants, dark currants. When the fruit go onto the palate, you feel almost full
Yes.
in your palate. Okay?
Yeah,
but,
and
but
it's so silky almost.
But it's not rough at all.
Yeah.
You can feel the texture of the tannin is very very elegant.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a good quality tannin.
Yes. Actually, this wine you can drink on its own, or if you match with a piece of good meat,
Yeah.
you will enjoy so much.
After Peter's recommendations, Ivy and I have chosen our favorite wines. Let's see what kind of food Peter will pair our wines with to elevate our whole wine-food pairing experience. So we tried 3 different types of wines. I think my favorite is still the sparkling wine.
Today, I actually recommend a very special dish for you to pair with this sparkling rosé. It's a pan-fried foie gras with a fixed marmalade.
Oh.
You know, sometimes when we deal with food and wine matching, we follow the cooking method of the chef. When they cook foie gras, they always use quite a lot of fruit in it, like cherry, blueberry, raspberry, jam, something like that. So I'm sure that this sparkling rosé will match very well with the foie gras. Before you eat the foie gras, first have a sip of the sparkling rosé first. We call it warm up your palate.
Oh, okay. Let me give it a try.
Feel the fruitiness.
Just as delicious as before.
And then you can have a piece of the foie gras. Chew your foie gras in your palate. When you feel the flavor of the foie gras is very strong, then have another sip of the sparkling rosé. Then it's what we call food and wine matching.
The fat of the foie gras is being cut really well with the sparkling wine. But then the fruit of it, it's all coming together in perfect harmony. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, I prefer the Refosque because the mouthfeel was really quite memorable for me just now. So I'd really like to see what magic happens when I pair it with rye food.
Well, Ivy, I remember that you said that this Refosque is a bit too tannic. So today, I pick up a spicy dish for you to match with this wine. So I pick up a pizza for you. But you know, Italian dish is not easy to match with wine because Italian dishes normally have a lot of ingredients with it. Like this one, they got spicy sausage, they got cheese, they got some tomato paste on it. So all the flavors, they are so complicated. Really need a complicated wine to match with all of this flavor.
I see.
Please try it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll just go for it now. the spiciness and the texture from this particular wine has created synergy. So it's a lot less rough right now, and instead it's more complex and it's more interesting.
So Peter, you said that the third type of wine is limited edition. So with such limited quantity, what should we pair it with?
The third wine is actually a limited edition, you said. It's a very classic wine, okay? So when we have a classic wine, we pair with a classic dish. This time, I pick up a pork for you.
Is there a particular reason why pork?
Some people may not like beef or lamb, but pork is normally for everyone. And this time, the pork is roast for you. After roasted the pork, the grease can be more aromatic. So I'm sure that it will match with this flavorful wine, match very well.
I see. Cheers. Cheers. I think the savory notes complements really well with the acidity, I have to say. In fact, what happens is the fruitiness of it, the floralness of this particular wine has been elevated by the meat flavors.
So in my bite, I had a bit of skin, a bit of fat, a bit of meat, and I think that all three parts of it, when paired with the wine, I don't know what was happening in here, but it was harmony.
Yes, that's the right word, harmony. You feel the flavor of the meat, the wine, the fruit, acidity, the tannin, they all together at the same level. That's what we call a harmony matching.
So Peter, how do you reckon we can indulge in wine food pairing?
I think food and wine pairing is how to make your eating experience even more fun. First of all, find a great variety which you like. Like if you like Chardonnay, try more Chardonnay. And then if you find you like a Chardonnay from a specific country, and try more Chardonnay from that country. And then if you find something you like, that means you are an expert on Chardonnay already. If you go to a restaurant, if you go to have a wine gathering with your friends, always take picture on the wine label, okay? And share the wine label with your friends. If you have more and more wine label in your phone, that means
sooner or later you'll be an expert.
Must be.
Well, I can cheers to that.
To that.
We are semi-experts.
Cheers.
So much.
Cheers.
Today, I'm supposed to go and check out some alternative tattoos. But what's alternative? Does the person have a lot of tattoos, or are the tattoos a bit special? Well, it turns out I'm wrong on both counts. The tattoos aren't for this body, but for this body. In the Western world, metal carving is also known as metal tattoos. The traditional metal carving process involves the use of a hammer and a carving knife on the metal bit by bit. But modern metal engraving uses pneumatic or electric carving knives. Either way, a high level of craftsmanship is required from the engraver.
Hello, my name is Carlos Koo, an actor in Hong Kong and a metal engraver. I'm a cruiser motorcycle lover. Overseas, riders, they love to customize their bikes. Some of them, they love to put metal engraving work on it. About 8 years ago, I saw it in the magazine and I was fascinated by metal engraving work. And I really wanted on my own motorcycle, but unfortunately, no one doing this in Hong Kong. And I was thinking, why not I do it myself? Besides my acting career, I think I still have time to create a new hobbies.
Hey, Carlos.
Hey, Darren.
Now, I mean, what a bike. But I know that the whole metal carving journey for you started right here, right? So how long did it take for you to finish this beautiful bike?
I really like the word you said, journey, because it's a very long process. I use my own bike for practice because I believe in myself I can do awesome jobs. It sounds crazy, but it comes out great. It took me about 3 years to complete this, the whole process.
I know this bike is full of carvings, but are there any sort of special details you can share with us?
My wife's gonna be happy if you ask this question because I engraved my wife's name on my bike. It's total 4 parts. Because I really love motorcycle when I was young. I used to keep like 6 motorcycles, but when I get married, I got kids, my wife said, you have to keep yourself safe. So she asked me to sell all my bikes, so I do a little trick on it. I engrave her name on it, and she feel happy, so she let me to keep this bike.
So she let you keep it. You're a very smart man.
Yeah, I have to. The problem of self-learning is no one is telling you what you're doing is correct or you're doing it wrong. So I went to Indonesia, Bali. I found a world-class master, Dewa. I learned from him. I learned from face-to-face. He teach me his skills. I found myself to become a professional metal engraver. I use the right skills, I use the right tools, and I use the right steps.
Seeing that Carlos could learn it in such a short time, it made me also want to give it a go too. Now I can see that your bike was absolutely beautiful, but now can you help me out and maybe make something nice for my wife?
Yeah, so this is a little log. In overseas, those guys, they like to put name of their Valentines on a log, which means lock them down.
Lock them down, yeah, so they can't get away.
Yeah, so you have to know one thing is very clear is there's no room for mistake. Metal engraving, after you remove the metal, it's gonna be there forever.
Yeah.
So you need to be 100% focused on what you're doing.
If you do it, I'm sure it'll be beautiful.
I'm gonna let you do it.
Oh, really? Really?
All right, so I try to explain what we got here. The first, this is the vise, is to hold your work.
Yeah.
This is very heavy. Yeah, this handpiece, it have a chisel here.
Okay.
This is made by high-speed steel. It's really hard. It's harder than the normal steel, the stainless steel.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is put this handpiece into your palm.
Okay.
Put this 2 finger.
Thumb and index.
Yeah,
Okay.
between it here.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is going to be the push.
Make it look so easy. All right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like this?
Nice, wow.
Really?
First of all, sit comfortable, look at in the microscope.
Okay.
Maybe you can try a little scratch on here.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Already, it is so difficult just making a scratch. Because my hand's just like, it's like it's not my hand.
Yeah,
but-
because you are focusing on the microscope.
Yeah. Her name is Lucy, and it's too long, the name. I think I'll just call it Luke from now.
Okay.
It looks like I'm just destroying the lock. It doesn't even look like I'm writing anything.
Well, art
Hold
thing is hard to say you're doing it right or wrong. Because
Yeah.
it's art, right?
I mean, how do you do the curves?
You have to turn the
Oh, of course.
device.
Oh, so when you usually do it, is it
you
literally
turns it,
like this?
get into the work, yes. Right, you have a right concept.
It looks like I'm doing something, but I am just scratching the lock.
The way you're doing is another method of metal engraving. This is called banana engraving.
Right, really?
It's
Yeah, I knew
making-
that. I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. So how about we change it?
Okay.
And
You showed me
I
how
show
it's
you-
done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, not bad.
Really?
You did the part right.
Yeah.
Without any instructions.
Out of
Wow.
thousands of scratches, I did one right. Yeah.
But not bad, not bad. See, seriously, for me, my first time,
Yeah.
I used my chisel, I just break it.
Oh, really?
And I was like, should I quit? So, you got talent on it. So,
Really? Wow, you're a very kind teacher.
So it have to be, so you need to turn the vise, get into the work, get in and get out. So like that.
Wow, look at that. So, I know that you can do the little lock here, but I mean, surely you didn't do the motorcycle this way, right?
No way, because it's gonna take forever.
Yeah, yeah.
So for bigger parts, I use the very traditional way. I use hammer
Okay.
and chisel.
Oh, wow.
So it's all about tapping, and it's all about body movement, and push your chisel and get into the work, removing the metal that you don't want. And but this is the very traditional way. You can start with very cheap price.
Now that I've had a chance to see how skillful you are there any projects that you've been working on or is working on you can share with us?
Well, I'm happy to show you what I got here.
Okay.
What you see, this is a picture of a metal engraving. It made by a copper piece. I found that the artist called Jimmy Rice. So I crossed over with his work, and it comes out really great. So after that, I try to move on the micro metal engraving.
Okay.
What you just tried, the air graver, and this is my first work. This is a lighter.
Yep.
So you can see the cut line is thinner than a hair. It took me about 4 days to complete this work. Although this is my first work, I still see a lot of mistake there, but it looks quite well for me. So this is my own watch.
Oh, right on the band right there, yeah.
Yeah, here is a little boat, and it's a fish, and the wave is kind of Japanese style.
Is it more difficult because that's slightly curved as well, isn't it?
Yes. Wow, you are qualified.
Yeah, I know how hard it is, I just can't do it.
Yes. This one, it took me a full month to finish this job. And this is my friends of the fingerprints.
Oh, wow. That is really intricate.
I took a picture of his fingerprints, and I tried to copy his fingerprint on it.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's quite cute, huh?
So out of all the work that you've been doing, is there one that you feel particularly proud of?
Well, I really like this one. This is my my recent work. And this clock, it took me about like 300 hours to finish it. From the beginning, I see my design, the sketch. I really in love to it because it have a lot of 3D effect. And the squirrel work is my favorite. And the gear, like matching up with all this squirrel work.
Yeah, I agree. It does look fantastic.
All the artwork, there's no the end.
Yeah.
You only abandon, because if you give me one more 100 hours or 2 more 100 hours to finish this work, I still can keep on working on it. But in some point, it have to be abandoned. Yeah.
You have to learn when to stop.
Yeah, you have to learn when to stop. This is all about artwork.